Ubisoft devrait revendre ses licences les plus populaires à Electronic Arts ou encore à Microsoft. C'est quelque chose qui fait beaucoup de bruit et qui fait beaucoup de débats sur les réseaux depuis quelques heures, depuis qu'un article du média américain IGN a été partagé. Sauf que j'ai voulu qu'on aille plus loin dans l'information et qu'on aille plus loin dans cette histoire sur la chaîne. J'ai donc contacté le cabinet AG Investments et j'ai donc discuté de façon exclusive avec Juraj Krupa. C'est lui l'actionnaire minoritaire d'Ubisoft qui souhaite bouleverser les choses. C'est lui qui d'ailleurs avait fait une lettre ouverte il y a de cela plusieurs mois pour dire que Ubisoft devait être revendu et que le management était terrible. Et aujourd'hui, il annonce qu'il va manifester en mai devant les locaux d'Ubisoft avec d'autres actionnaires mécontents. Et en plus de ça, il partage qu'on lui a envoyé un document qui précisait que Ubisoft était bien en pourparlers pour revendre certaines licences. Je l'ai rencontré, j'ai discuté avec lui, un entretien inédit, exclusif que vous pouvez trouver maintenant sur la chaîne. Vous allez voir, c'est archi intéressant pour avoir le fond de sa pensée sur différents sujets. Vous allez voir qu'on n'a pas absolument tout, mais c'est quelque chose qui est cool pour bien creuser une information qui est déjà moult fois traitée sur internet. Et donc du coup, n'hésitez pas en commentaire à me dire un peu ce que vous pensez de ce type de format ou de ce type de traitement d'actualité. Allez, c'est parti, on commence. The first question is to begin really this interview. You are currently calling for a protest in front of Ubisoft's Paris offices in May. What are your demands and what issues do you want to highlight with this protest?
Yes, as you may know, we are quite active in the Ubisoft campaign for several months. We already issued the open letter where we highlighted certain problems that Ubisoft has, and also we highlighted all the goods they have. You know, they have great IPs, they have legendary games, they have a lot of good talent, which is hard to build. But in our view, the company is mismanaged, and the current management is not really reflecting that, and still trying to fight for their good or for their stay in the company. They wanna have it under the control. And we think it will be better if there will be sale of the company or change of the management, which can enhance the value of the legendary IPs they have, such as Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, Rayman, Rainbow Siege, etc., etc. So this is our view basically, and what we trying to achieve with this is, as you may know, there is an upcoming release of the newest Assassin's Creed on March 20th, which is next week. We think that after this release, even the Ubisoft management should be able to know how the game is performing. So we give them 2 months to specify or make a clear path forward for the company, and if not, we're gonna make a polite public protest with all the laws, with other retail shareholders, because as you may know from the start of the campaign, hundreds of small shareholders contacted us, and we've been in contact with most of them, and we also been in contact with bigger shareholders, and most of the shareholders are sick and tired of the current management and the potential that are losing with the great IPs, the great brands they have under the Ubisoft umbrella.
Will you be physically present in Paris during the protests or not?
Yeah, I will be there. Okay. I will be there, and I think many other shareholders will be there, and
okay.
we will be asking questions. And as you may know, there was a protest of the employees. Yeah. The Ubisoft headquarters is in Montreuil, near Paris. It's part of Paris. All the municipalities are aware of it. We inform them, so I think everything will be in the legal perspective.
Actually, you can feel your preoccupation about that, and also. This is for another question. Currently, AG Investments is a small minority shareholder in Ubisoft, or holding less than, I think, 1%. Do you think you'll be listening to enough? Have other investors shared the same concern with you? You mentioned the other shareholders on the protests and who are according with you. But do you have a number of shareholder or something?
Yeah, hundreds of retail investors contacted us, and also bigger funds and bigger investors in UK, in France, pretty much all around the world. So I think there will be quite a lot of angry shareholders, because if you look at the price, I mean, you can like the games or you can enjoy it, but if the company is not managing it right, that's really bad for the owners, right? I mean, at the end of the day, the shareholders own the company, right? Not the media, not the reviewers, not the gamers. The owners of the company should have their voice as well in this process.
You mentioned that Ubisoft is in discussion with Microsoft and also Electronic Arts to sell certain licenses. Do you have any evidence of this? What information do you know actually internally about this news?
Yeah, as I told you, we spoke, or we're still speaking to several bondholders, shareholders, all the stakeholders pretty much. And this news came out, it wasn't from me. I mean, somebody, like, I don't want to mention who, but somebody sent it to me, and it was official article on the Merger Market, which is like a paid publishing service, which is mainly available to like institutions and banks and big funds. And there was two journalists that, according to their sources, Microsoft and EA is speaking with Ubisoft basically, and they wrote the article about it. We mentioned it in the press release. It's not that something I'm making up. It's something that was sent to me. It's official, but it wasn't in public, right? It was part of the paid subscription service, which is usually really expensive, and it's only like a big banks and funds have access to it.
And actually, do you have any rumors about name of license?
At the Ubisoft, like, you have a lot of IPs, but there are just 4 or 5 IPs that are really valuable in our opinion, right? That is Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, Rainbow Siege, pretty much the whole Tommy Clancy, so also like a Splinter Cell, and maybe The Crew or some Watch Dogs or some other IPs. But most of the IPs didn't release any game for long years, and so the value of the smaller IPs is really questionable. But I think these guys are the strategic investors, such as Microsoft or EA. They would be interested in the biggest IPs, right? That's obvious.
Have you contacted Ubisoft about this? Have they communicated with you anything with about this, about to sell the license?
As you read from the IGN article, they repeating the same stance they have. The ongoing review of the strategic options is still going, and when there will be any materialized transaction or something real, they're gonna report about it basically. So they just repeated what they mentioned in Q3 earnings.
Do you think Tencent is aware about that, or maybe shareholders more bigger are aware about that? Maybe the name of license, maybe the confirmation of the information.
Based on my information, Tencent was really they wanted to acquire the Ubisoft, or they wanted to help them stabilize the situation. They were talking, there was also, like, Bloomberg reported last year that the Tencent is talking to family, and I know that there were several offers on the table for the whole company, but the management didn't proceed with it. They still think they can survive by themselves and solve it somehow. I think Tencent is aware of this situation. They just probably waiting and trying to try to interact more with the founders, or just let it go and see how it play out.
You mentioned that with Assassin's Creed Mirage. A few weeks ago, the French media Les Echos, as you say, report to that Savvy Game Group is funding Ubisoft to create an expansion of Assassin's Creed Mirage. Is this something you've heard about before? Can you confirm or deny this actually?
There was clear, and Les Echos is like relevant art media, right? It's not like, it's like one of the biggest in France, right? So I take it seriously, and there was a report that the Guillemots and some other French entrepreneurs went with Macron to Saudi to like a business trip, where probably this deal was, signed and agreed on. What we see is that basically the Savi Group, which is financed by the Public Investment Fund, so it's really under the umbrella of the royal family in Saudi Arabia, and they're trying to increase their presence in the esports and the gaming industry, right? They, as you may have seen, they acquired Scopely, which is a mobile game developer.
Yeah.
Just recently, I think yesterday, they acquired
Niantic. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, they acquired the Pokemon Go yesterday. I think the news breakout. So they have a big budget for. They have a stake in Embracer, and they're doing some sort of a deal with Ubisoft, which we don't know anything about, right? So, and potentially they are probably in talks with Ubisoft about acquiring the whole company or the assets, because they have definitely firepower, and they're definitely, as Microsoft and others, they're aware that the brands that Ubisoft has are still valuable and still worth working on it and improving it and releasing new games.
And the problem with that, I think it's actually we don't have any confirmation from Ubisoft of that.
At least you say something, in my view, right? You say, okay, we signed the deal, or no, we didn't sign the deal. That's bullshit, right? There are some articles from really relevant media, and you don't say anything about it. That's really weird. And obviously, the business trip happened, right? The Macron flew there. The business leaders from France flew there. It happened, right? There was like official visit. So it's really weird that you try to deny it or just don't comment on it. Just from my perspective, I would expect different behavior from public company.
To return and finish on Ubisoft's current situation, what do you think is the company's biggest problem? Is it the recruitment, the projects and their quality? It is management? It is all of that?
What we think is focus on the core IPs. Don't do like 10 projects at once. Do the core IPs correctly and streamline the operation. And if this cannot be done under the current management, there has to be management change. Obviously these guys, I give them a lot of credit. They created a lot of great brands. They are really creative, or were really creative at the beginning, but Ubisoft is really stagnating the last couple of years, right? So it's, from my perspective, it's okay to say, okay, we did a lot of good things, sell the company to somebody else, or let's just be creative, right? So that's my perspective, and I think everybody, even the bigger investors, will be glad if this change would happen. You have the Far Cry, which is really popular worldwide. You have Assassin's Creed. You have Rainbow Siege, but it's doing pretty good, right? That's one of the games that is still doing pretty good. And then you have Rayman, like when there is no Rayman game, which will be really success in my view if you can do it creatively and just refresh it what was before.
Thank you a lot, Mr. Krupa, for this interview. Thanks again.
Thank you very much for your time, and
thanks to you.
Good luck with everything. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye. Voilà donc par rapport à cet entretien avec Juraj Krupa, donc n'hésitez pas en commentaire à me dire un peu ce que vous en pensez. Ce qui est quand même assez intéressant, c'est que par rapport à cette histoire de revente de licence, on est sur quelque chose qui lui a été envoyé, quelque chose qui, selon ses propos, est accessible uniquement pour les gros investisseurs, les grosses banques, etc. Donc c'est pas quelque chose qui sort un peu de nulle part, ou c'est pas forcément quelque chose qui vient d'un forum assez obscur. C'est une information importante à avoir en termes de contexte, bien sûr. Pour ce qui est du reste, de la situation d'Ubisoft, de pourquoi est-ce que les actionnaires minoritaires sont en colère, combien d'actionnaires participeront à la manifestation, combien globalement aussi sont d'accord avec les propos du Juraj Krupa, maintenant on le sait, il y en a à peu près une centaine. Il dit qu'il est en discussion avec des investisseurs qui sont plus gros pour justement faire cette espèce de barrage. Bref, la situation risque d'évoluer et ça va être assez intéressant à suivre. Bref, n'hésitez pas en commentaire à me dire un peu ce que vous en pensez par rapport à ça, par rapport au format, par rapport au traitement, et je vous dis à très vite sur la chaîne pour de nouvelles aventures, et prenez soin de vous. C'était Momo pour JVM, la bise, jouez bien, et à très vite.